I don't know how much I can really be useful with regards to specifically Blue Potion.
Okay. I'll play around with
But
it
at
a little
least,
bit longer. I mean, if I can get
yeah.
it running, like the initial like sample Hello World app,
Mhm.
then I'll probably stick with it. But I'll give it a couple more hours on trying to run Hello World, and if I can't, then I'm like, I can't run Hello World. Maybe it's not
Yeah.
worth it.
Yeah, and if anything, and obviously for sure I can help you figure out if it's Blue Potion that's the issue or somewhere down the stack.
It's definitely Blue
Hopefully,
Potion because I
okay.
made a vanilla motion app, and because that's why I was like, oh, maybe I installed something wrong. So I ran it on regular motion and it worked fine. So I mean, at least I have a backup plan. I'm not too worried.
Cool. Well, thanks for joining us, everybody. It's nice to see some new faces, and looks like everybody's here.
Cool.
Jeremiah, you want to kick off our first demo?
Yeah, sure. Sorry, I wasn't thinking of it. I just got it to work actually. I had some weird stuff going on with Pod, but it all solved when I run bundle update, and I was like, okay, I'll take that. Okay, which screen am I sharing? Is it? That's the wrong screen. So let me push that over. And let me. Okay, it's awesome. I don't need to monitor the screen anyway. So, really cool. All you have to do is add this pod, this styling kit pod right here, and obviously run pod install. And in your app delegate, you just say, "Hey, I'm going to start styling," and that's really it. It's really easy. And then you go in your resources file and add this default CSS, and just start CSS in it. It's pretty great. You can make classes. I made a class and I made an ID, and I'll show you. I made a simple little app to show. So let me see. There it is. Awesome. So, oh, because I didn't add any, I changed a lot of stuff. Anyway, but if I add these things, all you do is self.id or self.view.styleid, and that's how you add these. And if you want to add classes, it's just the same thing. Add that to your button tag. These are all buttons. This was kind of, I copied and pasted some stuff I was doing earlier, so the names don't really make sense. But that's all you need to do, and that should work, or it worked right before the call. So let's see if it works now.
It looks like it adds these monkey patches these methods, style ID and style class.
Yeah. So here's the it's pretty, I don't know. You can like you can do like regular like tags, so you can do like a button. So if I wanted to, I can just do, like button or something like that, and define it like that if I wanted to. So I mean, like, really, you can do pretty much anything you would want to do in CSS in this. I played around with it quite a lot, and it was really cool. And it relatively simple, because I hate styling. I hate styling in Swift, and I hate styling in Android because I don't really know what I'm doing. But if I can use CSS, I mean, it's perfect. I don't have to learn it. I don't know. That's basically it. I mean, this is what that produces. I mean, it's an array of different. I tried to incorporate different techniques, but
That's cool.
It's really cool, really straightforward.
Is the you mentioned that button tag sort of syntax there? Is that do you have to define it or name it with that button tag, or is it
No, you don't have to.
figure that out from UI button?
I don't know if it can figure it out from UI button. I don't know. I always just defined it. I'll try. I'm putting out tag right now.
So it uses Pixate. Okay.
Yeah, it kind of, yeah.
Didn't know if this was it sounded like it was a successor to Pixate, but I'm not sure.
Yeah, it's maintained, so that's good. It's always a plus.
Pixate was pay for a commercial, wasn't it? Like there was a.
Yeah, that was a paid option.
Yeah, you had to pay for it or something. I seem to recall that somewhere. But this is completely open, right?
Yeah, I mean, I didn't pay for this. Yeah, completely free. I mean, it's just a pod. You just pod install it, and it's yours. It's pretty great.
Yeah, it looks like the selector for UI button is button.
Yeah.
And yeah, UI date picker is date dash picker and stuff like that. So that's cool.
Yeah, really, really straightforward. I mean, what you would expect from CSS. Yeah, that's about all I have to show. I don't know. Like you were talking about performance, but I don't really know. I don't know how it. I'm not exactly sure what the performance loss is, if there is any. But I mean, yeah.
I don't know. I thought I had remembered reading about the original Pixate library having some performance issues with having to like evaluate those styles every time it rendered the view. But maybe this gem or pod doesn't have that problem. But
yeah, I mean, and I think what it was updated. I mean, what was the name of it? I mean, it's regularly updated. So I don't know. I'm sure it might have gotten quite a lot better since Pixate.
It says it was updated 7 months ago.
7 months ago. Not too bad.
pretty good.
Well, it was updated the last time there was a major iOS update. So there we go.
Yeah.
That's all you can really ask for, is just to make sure everything's still working.
Yeah.
After the major iOS update. So the real trick is to go and look at issues and stuff and see if there's a open issue on performance.
Oh, if you're like this guy was infinitely reapplying styles. I mean,
yeah, that's probably not really a performance issue.
that would do that 90% CPU, 90 to 100% CPU.
It looks like they're working on responding to issues when people ask them. It also looks like there's not a lot of issues, so that's a good thing.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, you respond in 2 days.
That means it's pretty solid.
Yeah.
Cool.
All right. Well, that's all we got. Then I can move on to talking about motion capture.
Mm-hmm.
For the
how do I
screen share?
There it goes.
All right. So motion capture is a I'm pulling up the README right now. Motion capture is a gem that wraps AV Foundation, some iOS frameworks for capturing images or video. It hadn't been updated in a while, 5 years ago. So I recently was updating it to work with iOS 10 and 11. So I'll give a little demo of how to set this up. Start by creating just a regular RubyMotion iOS app. And I'll open this in Sublime. So on our gem file, we're going to need the motion capture gem, but if you want it to work with the newer versions of iOS, until this pull request is merged in, you can use my fork branch of.
I just reference Andrew's stuff directly these days. Just, yeah. Whatever.
And 11.
It's like, does Andrew have a fork to it? Yes. Okay, that one is going to get referenced.
All right, we've got our gem. I'm just going to run bundle exec rake to get this starting to compile. Haven't updated the latest version of RubyMotion yet, but that's okay. So when we are working with things related to camera, we need to we can only test on an actual device. Because the simulator does not simulate the camera. So I'm going to set up motion provisioning here to make it easy on myself. In motion provisioning, we're going to set up we're going to pick a spot here to add some development settings here. We can set up our code signing for development. The app code sign certificate equals motion provisioning. Type is development. Platform is iOS. And I'm going to say free true in order to use my free account, free development account. Another thing I'm going to need to do, change my apps identifier so that it's within my my domain, I guess. And app provisioning profile equals motion provisioning dot profile. It's also going to be type development platform iOS app name or app name handle identifier app dot identifier. Oh, never mind that. True. Okay. I'm going to bundle again. And while that's building, the thing we're going to do here is we are going to set up a custom view controller for displaying our image preview. And I'll just make another view controller here for our, save this as a camera preview controller.rb. Camera preview controller. It can be a subclass of UI view controller. And our view did load method. We're gonna set up a preview. Before I do that, I'm gonna set up gonna initialize motion capture. I can reference it a couple times here. Motion capture equals motion capture. And the default settings are going to be fine now. You can pass a few initialization options, like specifying the type of capture session that you want. So in some cases you want like full size image, and in some cases you want to just display a cheap preview image, low quality. So there's a few different options you can pass in there. So in the view did load, we're gonna attach a preview layer on our main view. So the preview layer takes an existing UI view and it displays it as a layer on top of that view. Okay. And the other thing that we're going to need is to specify that we're going to use the camera. So in iOS, I think it's version 8, maybe 9, it started requiring you to specify a certain info plist setting in order to use the camera. And basically, this is the, you need to ask the user for permission in order to use their camera. And it's going to display a description of why you are using the camera. So the info plist setting for this is going to be NS camera usage. Equals. I'm going to show a demo preview. And let's see if we've got any frameworks specified here by default. We're going to need to add the AV Foundation framework in order to use the camera. We can also access the photo library, so we can save our photos. We can capture a photo and save it to the library. But for now, let's just try to display a preview. So app frameworks. I'm gonna add AV Foundation. Now let's see if we can bundle exec rake device. This comma. Now I'm going through motion provisioning for the first time. It's going to ask me if I want to do certain things here. Use this account. Yes, I want to save my email address so I don't have to type it again. And since I've already logged into the developer portal, it's not going to ask me to enter my password because it is able to fetch that from the keychain access. It's asking me if I want to save my team here, which is my the free personal team that you get with an account. I'll say yes. Found an iOS development certificate. Okay, exporting private key from keychain for certificate. Choose a password. I'm not going to choose a password because then I'd have to keep typing it. Using the certificate, this computer is connected to an iOS device, which is not registered in the developer portal. Do you want to register it? Okay. Yes. Creating a new profile for this app. Motion capture demo. Now it's compiling. Deploying. See the app installed on my device here. And it's launching. Now, here's something that I figured out how to do, which is displaying my my device's screen on my computer so that you can see it. I can open up QuickTime Player, start a new movie recording, and instead of choosing your camera, you can choose your phone.
Yeah, the really annoying thing about that is I can't figure out a way how to get it to like play sound as it's recording, either through the device or through the computer speakers or something. It will record it to where the sound will be available later, but you can't hear the sound while it's going through this. Again, it's annoying. I think there's I've tried a number of I guess paid options, and they're broken in their own special ways, right? But it's annoying. I was just, if someone knows how to get it to actually play the sound while it's you know, not recording, but just having it visible like that, that'd be freaking amazing.
Yeah, I haven't tried doing that yet, so I don't know. So now we've got app launched here, but we don't have the right view controller being set. So right now the root view controller is just being initialized here. Instead of doing that, we want to make it our camera preview controller. Try this again. Oh, I don't know if you know about this, Amir, but if for some reason if I'm running it on my device and it crashes or it disconnects, or if I hit Control C, then I lose my can't type in the console here.
Yeah. So basically, the reason that's happening is that, yeah, one, you have to use reset. Two, type exit and not SIGINT, which is kill process. But but the reason for that is standard out is disabled for a short period of time through or echoing standard out. Disable for a short period of time to get rid of some of the noise that's inside of the initialization of the REPL, and then after that it's re-enabled. But you're right, there is this weird situation where if you hit Control C, for some reason that SIGINT bit isn't flipped back to relinquish control back to a regular terminal. I'm aware of it. Type exit and it won't happen. I know we all hit Control C, and I understand that. I'm wondering if it works, if it does the same thing with Control D. Oh, you said it was crashing, and it did that. Yes, you're right. Yeah, also, right? Yeah. So I need to make sure to take care of that also when a SIGINT is sent because of a crash.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I'm aware of it.
Cool. All right, so I've got my app launched now, and it's saying it's displaying my preview or my description here, saying this app name would like to access the camera. And here's my description. I'm going to show a demo preview. So I'm going to hit OK. And now you can see my camera preview here.
Cool.
So that's the first part of this. We can display a preview. This doesn't do much for us, so now we can take it to the next level and add some more interesting things here. So one thing we want to do is display a button that allows us to take a picture. So I'll do that before we start here. This basically under the hood. This is creating an AV capture session. So the session, like I mentioned, you can pass some configuration options here when you initialize motion capture. But the session manages like the inputs and the outputs and a bunch of other stuff. But so when we run start here, this starts the session. That's the thing that you need to do when you're ready to start using the camera. Now we can attach a button here that we can use to take a picture. I'm going to say view, add subview, button. Our capture button, It's going to be now I'm just going to copy and paste this button in here because there's a lot of initialization stuff. Oh, can't do it. Oops, not that. Resources. All right, we've got our capture button here. It's got this custom image. That's why I was copying that over. And when this capture button is tapped, then we are going to call a capture method. And this motion capture method is going to take our motion capture instance that we already have and use a method called a few different methods that we could use here.
Capture and save.
Just capture and save. We'll start with capture. We haven't, we're not doing anything with the photo library yet. This is going to be our image data that we get back. Yeah, doesn't do much yet. Let's see what we can. Let's see if it fails. There's some other things that we can do here also. We can toggle the camera between the front and the back camera, toggle the flash on and off. Other than that, it's pretty simple library here that simplifies a lot of the setup code and all the stuff you need to do when you're working with an AV capture session. And now we've got our button here. You can tap the button. And nothing happened.
Actually, I think I know what it is.
What is it?
The specification of the action method. You use the form that expects a parameter, and then you're
right. Yeah. Capture, but I didn't include the sender.
Yes.
That's one of those things that's really difficult to explain to new people.
Yeah. Anybody else spend hours trying to figure out why could not find UNF_ext in any of the sources occurs?
I think I spent some time doing that. Am I seeing that up here anywhere? No, maybe I resolved that issue.
No, it's right there in bright red.
Oh, there it is. Yep. Actually, I think I do know the issue with this. Do you know?
No, I don't.
I've never seen that before.
I get that error as well.
This has something to do with the motion, or somewhere along the line in the RubyMotion build process here. It shells out to system Ruby, but it doesn't have a clean bundler environment here. So it's like expecting that this gem is going to exist.
Oh,
but it
okay.
doesn't
Yes, I
exist.
did figure that out. It was so many weeks ago, I forgot. Okay, yeah.
I don't know if there's a simple solution for it, but
To not shell out.
yeah,
you can install the gem in your system.
Oh, I tried that. I tried that.
Oh, it doesn't work.
It got pissy about it, so that was the point I gave up. There we go. We got some image data.
I don't see it, but
I made a note of that UNF issue.
Okay.
I think it's probably hanging right now. Tapping the button again to get an image, and it's not working. Well, we can try implementing something else. We could implement capture and save. Let's try that. So after calling capture and save, it's going to save it to the image, to the photo library. And can't remember if it's image data or image that comes back. I guess it's asset URL. I don't think that this works the same way anymore. Because of the way that iOS 10 handles the saving to the photo library. You can see here's an example of initializing motion capture with this preset, AV capture session preset, 640 by 480. So you can specify the different, I don't know, image size you want to generate. Because this is like taking images over and over and over again. Or at least it's getting ready for when you call capture to send you this size image. Yeah, I updated this now. Capture and save is going to return image data. I guess it's going to return asset URL. All right, so back in our rig file, we're going to need the photos framework. we're going to be targeting iOS 8. And we're going to need an NS photo library usage description to say that, to ask the user if we can save a photo to their library. So we'll save that. We'll try again. Anybody have any questions about motion capture?
So it seems like there's a lot of features of the camera that you can't change, like the built-in camera controls. And I was wondering if that was just because this gem never got around to it, or if it's not possible.
Well, what do you mean by that?
Like live photos, HDR, that sort of thing.
I think that might be related to the preset that you specify.
Probably, if you go into the iOS documentation, Jeremiah, you'll find that there might be layers that you put on top of the motion capture. So when you start the capture, there's probably, you'll invoke it with a certain configuration that'll put a layer up, and that layer will grant you access to the controls. Likely. I haven't looked at it, so.
Yeah, I haven't really either, so I'm just curious.
So you probably still have access to all of that, even though you're using the gem. But yeah, it's just a matter of figuring out how to plug it into the gem so that you use the two of them together.
Yeah, the framework and the AV capture photo output class allows all sorts of configuration for specifying what kind of photos you want: live photos, raw image formats, all sorts of different things. And basically these settings get passed to the, when you initialize motion capture, it gets that preset passed to which gets passed to the AV capture photo output. And
oh, I see.
There might be some delegate methods that need to be implemented, but this gem is really designed for you to be able to create custom camera, I don't know, applications or use cases. So anything where you're going to need to display a preview from the camera or take an image or take a video, this gem is designed for supporting that. And there are other ways to capture, take photos in your iOS app using some default UIs. You can present some built-in view controllers to handle the taking the photos and stuff, the kind of the standard iOS view controllers for doing that. But this gem and AV capture session are designed for high performance custom UIs and photo and video capture use cases. So it's possible that there's some feature that just isn't implemented here, but it should be possible to add that feature, or maybe even it's just a matter of customizing or passing in the right configuration options.
Yeah, that makes sense. Another question I have is this thing you're writing the only available demo? Or are there other ones?
It is the only demo that I know of.
Cool.
Publicly available demo. You can see that I implemented a lot of these new delegate methods for iOS 10 and iOS 11. It's launched, so we can see if this works now. Take a picture.
It didn't ask.
No, it didn't ask, and it didn't. I'm guessing that it got to the.
Well, it won't ask again, right? Once the app starts.
Yeah, but he added a new.
Yes, the photo library. That's right. Yes.
Yeah.
Sorry, Lori.
Should ask for my permission to. Display that or to save it to the library. Let's see if I'm missing something here. No. Split. Now in motion capture, we have start. We've called start already. We've authorized the camera. Shouldn't need to authorize saving it to the photo library because it should do that the first time we ask. Now this is capture. iOS 11 has an AV capture photo capture delegate method for did finish processing photo. Passes back the file data representation. And so capture, what do we call here? Capture and save. Capture and save. Capture image. Capture and save calls capture, gets the JPEG data back, calls save data. Save data. If it's iOS 8, then it uses this PH photo library. Save the photo library. Now, a good thing for us to implement would be an error callback. So I guess I'll put it in. Error. guess the example doesn't show how to use the error callback, but we can. Yeah, it is on error. So on error will return. It should have the error message in there. So that's our error. I bet this is going to be an NS error, so we're going to need to call localized description on it. The first time we request this shared photo library, it should prompt us to allow those permissions. Oops. Did this over here, but didn't return it. I'm guessing that for whatever reason, it's getting to this on error state. All right, got our motion capture demo up and running. Let me open up the system player. Let's get the image capturing and nothing. All right, what's going on here? QA testing my PR request right now. It was working. So I feel like I'm missing a step. We've got our photos framework added here. And this camera usage description.
Were there two entitlements that you needed? Oh, there's the other one. No. Okay, yeah, there's your two entitlements. Okay, there it is. Right.
These two plist settings. What's going on here? Why is this taking so long? There we go. I'm booting up the official demo. It comes in the motion capture repo. All right. Here's the official demo app. You can toggle the flash on and off. You can switch the camera. Something that keeps happening is it keeps disconnecting. QuickTime keeps disconnecting, or something is causing something's causing it to disconnect
iTunes.
so often.
iTunes.
It disconnects and then it reconnects, and then iTunes pops up because it sees it's
Okay.
been reconnected, and that's the reason why this isn't working anymore. So let me try launching this again. I'm guessing it's because I'm doing too many things here, doing QuickTime and using my camera. So see, it disconnected again. Well, let's see if this works. We're not going to get any log statements because we disconnected again. But if I take a picture, actually, now that I think about it, I wonder if it actually saved. Look at that. It actually saved it. It didn't tell us that it saved it, but it worked in that case.
Yay.
All right. So I think that that's the extent of my the demo for tonight. I'm not sure exactly what I did differently, but it's working.
Andrew, you said that there was a Hello World demo with the repo itself, and that this one, but this,
Yeah, that's what I launched here. So in the
okay,
you go in the code, the app directory here, where we have the in the gem here, the view controller here gives some examples of the things you can do. So adding a flash, a button for toggling the flash, or the switching between the front and the back camera. This also has some other code here that I don't think was working. All right. So that's motion capture.
Cool.
Nice work.
Thanks, Andrew. That was really interesting. No, it's just there's a lot to do in there. So
Yeah.
So am I up next?
Sure.
Okay, I'm not gonna share my screen. I'm just gonna talk. So the school. In case anybody is like unsure about this, because it's taking a while, it's because I'm going all in. Okay, I'm going all in on my school. I have money to do so. So I'm going to be spending the rest of this year building out the school. And as such, this is like a real business. So I need to have things like a real business plan and you know, budgets, and heck, I'm hiring a co-op student, which I still have to interview this week. and a whole lot of other things. So I have got a plan for how the school is going to be built out. Over the next 2 weeks, I'm going to be finishing updating the introductory course that a bunch of people have already been through in beta, and that will become live. I think I have specified a date for myself. Let me see where. Document. I laid out what I'm doing for the next 3 months. So the launch should happen the week of April 23rd. And from that point, I'm pardon?
I was saying that we could also I can also make sure that launch is also emailed to all the existing RubyMotion people.
Great, thank you.
Yeah, well, I'll make sure that is advertised closer to your launch.
Cool. Part of the stuff that I'm doing, between now and then, besides finishing brushing things up, is building out a whole launch campaign with emails and content and all that good stuff. I will also be, if you're one of the people who's taken the course, I will be bugging you for testimonials about the course. Just in case you didn't know I was going to do that. Yeah, I'm going to do that. Then I'm going to be getting ready for the We Are Developers conference. In case you missed that, I was really excited, so I told everybody about it. So, I am going to be speaking about RubyMotion and the school at We Are Developers. It's the largest software development conference in Europe with over 8,000 developers there. So that's pretty freaking scary. There's I haven't decided yet if it was a downer or a good thing. They accepted my workshop, which is like a 4-hour long thing. And then they contacted me again and said, oh, we ran out of workshop slots. Can you just do a regular speaking slot? At which point I'm like, well, I would have liked to give the workshop, but it's a lot easier to just do regular speaking slot. So, okay. I think, by the way, that was conference speak for one of our sponsors wanted a workshop slot. Anyway, so that is going to happen. It's the week of May 15th, 16th, 17th, I think is the conference. I speak on the second day. Anyway, so I have to prep for that because I have to get a bunch of materials to them in advance of the conference. And as soon as I've got that done, I'm going to be working on my signature feature course that I hope is going to make money, like lots of money. The intro course is going to be cheap because that's the gateway drug in. The feature course is, and I've been told this is a horrible name, so it will have a better name, but it's more about the business of iOS app development. And by business, I don't mean, you know, budgets, plans and that. I mean that iOS app development is a lot more than sitting down in your code editor and coding. And I know that's what we all love, but you have to have an idea. No, I'm not going to talk to them about ideas. They have to have an idea if they want to take my course. It's a requirement. There's an idea and you have to do a design. And then I'm actually going to make them go and crunch their app down into the minimum, not viable product. I hate that term, minimum lovable product. And then once they have that, then they can do some coding. And that's just like a middle step. And then we'll be talking about testing. And testing, not just, you know, testing with MacBacon and continuous integration and so forth, but I'll be doing that, but also going through provisioning and going to test flight deploys and all of that stuff. And then after you have that, then about launching and all the associated materials you have to have it to do a launch. You know, it's not just screenshots anymore. They want videos and everything else. So anyway, all of that is actually what you need to get in the App Store. And I think all of that is why a lot of people give up, because they don't realize this up front. And it's just like one more thing, and they kind of give up. So the whole idea of this course is to say, okay, I'm going to be your guide, and I'm going to get you from idea to app in App Store. And it'll be like a 6 week thing that we do. That doesn't necessarily mean that they're all going to get an app in the App Store, but they're all going to be able to. So now that course, in case you hadn't noticed, doesn't actually need a lot of updating when, say, there's a new iOS update. and that's a good thing, because that's going to be like a big feature course for the school. And I don't want to spend a lot of time updating that. I'm just going to have a nice evergreen launch for it and get people running through it. And then I'll move on to the next phase. And this is stuff that I hope I'm going to be able to get help with. I want to have stuff, for example, like what Andrew did tonight with motion capture. I want to have nice bite-sized content on how to do everything. And we'll just have it like one at a time, rolling it out, whether it's, you know, every couple of weeks, every month. I'm not sure what the schedule is going to be, but I want that set up so that people can either buy nice little bite-sized content or they can buy a subscription. Cha-ching. And we will be able to provide regular updated content to people. And this is where I'm hoping for help, because there's various levels of help people can give. And the more help you give me, the larger slice of the sales you'll be able to get. So if you just want to set up an example, fine. That's going to be like 20% of sales for that module. Because there's a lot more stuff involved in getting something in the school than just coding up an example. But if you want to be involved in the rest of it, I will have a guide for how to become more involved. And you can basically choose your level of involvement. If you just like coding up examples, that's fine. The other thing there is that when these little bite-sized things go out of date, I will yank them out of the school until they've been updated. And then we'll get to, relaunch them as updated content, which will be a good thing. Yes?
Have you written down anything about this portion of it?
I've just got sort of, bullet points that I've been working on in a spreadsheet.
Will you send out to people you have in mind once? Okay.
Oh, absolutely. Yes. I have a whole list of people who've been going, hey. So yes, I will send out, and I will also, along with the bite-sized content, I still have my core data book to complete turning into a whole mini course. And any sort of content like that, if somebody else wants to work on, talk to me and we'll work on getting that in the school as well. So anyway, I hope this turns into something that's a whole community effort, not just me. And I want, the community to both participate and profit from. So that's my update on the school. Does anybody have any more questions about that?
So you're doing the first bit that you're rolling out in a few weeks, and then it's the conference in Austria.
Yes, the conference in Austria, and then there will be the. I'll work on before I actually attend the conference. I'll start working on the feature course. When I come back, I will keep working on it, and I'm probably going to launch that sucker before it's actually done. And I'll be working ahead of people as we go through. I'm also going to limit enrollment in that first launch of that course, just till I get a whole cohort through and get their feedback on it. And then it will be updated after the fact in a new launch. But yeah. It's going to be, it's tons of work. This is why I'm hiring a student to help out on some of the grunt work bits. I was fascinated. I actually got like 7 students who applied for this job. So, and I'm applying for a grant. And Alberta Innovates.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah. So I can apply for a grant to get help to do sort of any one feature of, a startup. And they have this whole list of things that you could hire people to do for your business. And personally, I'm going to hire somebody to do marketing.
because you could probably, I mean, talk to some of the universities and stuff like that too, and get some students and things like that. I'm sure that there's a bunch of things that you could apply for.
I can. I've already got the local tech incubator here in town. This is like, for the rest of you guys, I just live in a little city of 100,000 people, but it has a university and a college. The student population is like 10,000 people. So that's like 10% of our population is students. So it's kind of an interesting city. And the fact that we're just a little tiny city, but we have a tech incubator is kind of interesting. And they are hungry for content. So I'm probably going to run some form of that feature course locally here. And I've also had some nibbles of interest from the startup Calgary community as well. So yeah, there's lots of other opportunities around this, and it's just a matter of getting these first steps right. So that's why I've had my head down planning, but I'm coming out of that now, and I'm really happy about that. Any thanks. Any other questions?
Not a question, just was going to say that the idea for your course, the iOS development, business of iOS development, sounds like a good idea, because there is a lot involved in really putting a real professional app into the App Store.
Yeah. Well, it was what I found, and I've it's funny, once I started talking about the school to people, that there's so many people that come up to me and say, yeah, well, you know, I took the Stanford courses and it all seemed so complicated and I never really got anywhere. So I think it's going to be an interesting next few months anyway.
Now I have to say that I do the Stanford courses every couple of years because he always goes into the new stuff. and I have no knowledge of this, but I kind of get the sense that, you know, he's invited on campus to Apple and they say, here's what you should put in your course. Just I think actually they're good as a refresher, but then again, you know, for somebody that's just coming into it, and there's all that other stuff, right? He doesn't talk about, you know, because it's a comp sci course. It's a second year comp sci course, right?
Exactly. So, you know, it's cool to, you know, get an app and get it onto your phone, and then what?
Oh yeah.
And there's a lot more to all of this. Like every single piece that I described could be a whole course in and of itself. Like the whole concept of doing app design could be a whole course in and of itself. What I might do, again, and this is some of this business stuff that other people have been pounding into my head, because I'm actually in a whole business. I have a business coach. Yes, I have a business coach, and I'm doing all of this stuff. And one of the things you can do is like affiliate marketing, right? So, you know, it's the old, you scratch my back, I'll scratch your stuff. People who teach design, you know, I can send people who want more information, want to dig more into the design aspects, off to somebody who does design. I can, send people off, the whole idea of minimum viable product or minimum lovable product, however you want to call it. There's acres of information and other people's training on that. There's tons of information on coming up with, your app idea. I'm totally going to send them off to those people because I don't want to have anything to do with that.
Yeah, no elevators, right?
No.
Or escalators or whatever they were.
No. So anyway, yeah, that's the story of the school. I've made a ton of progress in planning and basically mapping out what should be a viable business long term here. And now I just have to make it a real thing. But, I'll tell you the whole business coach story. I was just in like this introductory course thing on this. And then I started telling them, well, I've got this happen and I'm working with Amir and I'm doing this and I'm speaking at this conference. And they're like, oh my God, you have momentum. You need to go into the full-time coaching program right now. So what that means is they think I'm going to make a lot of money because they're guaranteeing it actually. So that's an interesting concept. I get my coaching money back if I don't, if it turns out not to be worthwhile for me. So it's really fascinating to hear people. Oh, by the way, while I'm in all this business stuff, and I'm going, yes, I'm teaching. I'm getting tons of people coming to me and asking now, do you build apps? So you guys, everybody who needs work, let me know, because I got at least 3 people in the last 2 weeks going, do you build apps? Because I need somebody.
Yeah, and just to add to that, I mean that's one of those things that I want to advertise as a differentiator for RubyMotion too, is that when you choose RubyMotion, yeah, again you get the business of app development, but also you get that community of professionals that will actually get you work, right? And so it's just again one of those things where you want to be an app developer, great. We have the work and we have the support system to make sure you succeed. And it just goes further than just your regular, use this technology to build apps, right? So again, it's a strong differentiator, and I'm excited about that too.
Yeah, that's going to be great.
Now, a word of warning about the do you build apps thing is a bunch of those people are going to be the I've got a great idea for an app. Imagine Twitter, but
no. The people that I met at this business coaching thing, these are all people that have their businesses and they want apps as a differentiator feature alongside their stuff. So.
Yeah, those are real ones, right? As opposed to the people, that
that come up and say, "I have an idea.
I have an idea for an app." Yeah. You
just have to code it, and I'll let you have 50%. Yeah,
50. A lot of times they say 15.
Yeah.
and then you tell them, everyone has ideas. Having the idea isn't the important part of it.
Exactly.
Yeah, for me, I usually say when you build a company, you need to have 2 founders, a tech founder and a business founder. So the tech founder brings the tech, and the business founder brings the cash. So I will totally do your idea, but if you don't have $500K in the bank to support years worth of work with two other developers. Good luck, right?
Yeah.
Idea is great. Idea is fantastic. I'm really happy about that. Great, you have an idea. So just let's get that 500K and let's do it. Right. And that usually goes, I don't have 500,000. I'm like, well then.
It's going to be a tough time getting your idea rolling.
Exactly. Yeah.
Cool. Well, Lori, thanks for sharing your update on your school and what's going on with you. Jeremiah, thanks for sharing about the styling kit. And thanks everybody for coming this month for RubyMotion Meetup.
And thank you for hosting as usual.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Thanks, Andrew.
Yeah.
Bye, all.
Bye, guys.
See you next time.
Yeah, thanks everybody.
Bye-bye.
So.